大家好，我是梁凯杰。今天很荣幸代表玉兰东、乌鸡巴都居民们和红点同心党参加新加坡2025年大选。我从小就和父母在家庭是说英文的，所以我今晚就会用英文继续。Every 5 years, we are gathered here today to make a choice for the future, for yourselves, for ourselves, for your children, the elderly, your parents, and the nation. As of this year, I am 33 years old, or years young, if you will. I've been to the voters' booth twice in my life, but as fate would have it, for the third time going to the voters' booth, I am putting my name up for candidacy in opposition politics. Some of my friends here, I know they've came, right? They know me through my 20s. They know me as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. Never once they thought that I would come to join politics, much less opposition politics. Why I joined opposition politics? Let me tell you why. In the last 5 years, I've observed that there were many legislations pushed through in Parliament without concerning the different voices and segments of society. They may be small, but they are important nonetheless. In Chinese, they call this 一手遮天. So, the issues in this election are clear. But today, I'll just talk about one big issue, because I want you guys to come for all of our 4 rallies. Okay, so let me talk about something that's very close to our heart. And I believe the residents of Jurong East, Bukit Batok, it's one of the highest population when it comes to the heartlands. The topic will be about housing, a roof over our heads. I see many young Singaporeans here, some of them middle-aged, many young, they look like they're just graduated or they're just still studying. But for all of us, housing is something that is close to our hearts. And increasingly, for young Singaporeans, owning a home today is not as a straightforward process as it was as compared to my parents' time. Trust me, I've had that debate many times. And today I shall speak from personal experience. I've went through the BTO system twice last year with my partner. And fortunately or unfortunately, they've both failed. I mean, if I've succeeded, maybe I won't join opposition politics, right? After all, 5 years, MOP, you sell, you make money, you keep quiet. Okay, so in May 2024, the project I applied for was in Tampines, matured estate. Very far from here, I know. And you may say Tampines is a matured estate, right? It's in high demand. Everyone also wants to chiong and get. And that's true. The numbers speak for itself. How many applicants to 1 4 or 5 room flat? Can you guys make a guess? How many applicants for Tampines? I know you guys live in the west. Yeah, Tampines might sound like Pulau Tekong or somewhere far away from you. So the shocking number is this. Okay, all this is data. Okay, I won't bluff you one because I also don't know kena POFMA lah. Okay. So it's 8 applicants to 1 house for 1 BTO exercise. 8 applicants. Can you imagine it? How can our young Singaporeans feel secure when they are facing high applicant ratios when it comes to housing? But some may argue, okay lah, Marcus, you apply Tampines, very high in demand. Okay, maybe you try somewhere else, Sengkang, Punggol. And that was what I did for the next exercise. Okay, in the next exercise in July or June, I applied for one in Sengkang. Sure get one lah, right? Some of you may think sure get one, because it's a new estate. But the numbers speak for itself again. It's 4 applicants to every 1 house. Today, oversubscription is a reality that we cannot ignore. The data has shown for itself. For every 8,000 flats in the there's 8,000 flats in the October exercises, and there's 35,000 applications. Now, the PAP government has launched Forward Singapore. I think some of you may have heard for it or even went for it. They speak much about national identity, social cohesion, and a Singapore for all. Well, that's good effort, right? You got to give them some props. But let me tell you, unless our young Singaporeans and all Singaporeans have a roof over their heads, have a stake in our home, in our country, then you can forget about talking about feeling like a true Singaporean, feeling like someone that belongs to this Singapore, someone that has a stake in Singapore, and someone has a stake that has a stake in our future. The only way to have our young, middle-aged, and old committed, dedicated, you've heard my colleagues, many young Singaporeans, my peers alike, they've decided to move overseas, or some maybe they think, okay, let's stay in JB, it's cheaper, less stress. This is a big issue because unless the government is able to persuade all Singaporeans of all ages to put their roots here through accessible, affordable homes, then I would say we will have a big problem in 20, 25 years. We're all done for. Now, just yesterday or this morning, I was doing my walkabouts in Bukit Batok West Hawker Center. You will be surprised at the feedback, okay? Because when sometimes I speak to my parents' generation, they say like, oh, we've made money from our flats. 300K, 400K, just like that. And this is why we will continue to vote the PAP. So I spoke to a very elderly resident this morning in a hawker store. He's probably retired, he has grey hair, and he's probably, money and housing is not a concern to him. And I asked him, other than municipal issues, such as Bukit Batok, their buses and stuff, what other concerns do you have as a Singaporean? As someone who has lived most of his life, who is in his golden days, what are you concerned about? And I was pretty surprised at his answer. He was concerned at our infertility rate. You guys have read the reports. You guys know that we are not replacing ourselves. And this issue is very deeply connected with housing policy. I am 33 this year. I failed twice in my BTO. Imagine if I were to get one later on this year, I have to wait 3 more years. When can you expect young Singaporeans to have babies? Then I will be 36. My partner will be in her earlier 30s, but still not too late. But for reasons, we will want everybody to have babies earlier, right? I think everybody would agree with that. Well, it's not just BTO pricing. A well-known publisher in Singapore has published that our housing prices is 4.5 to 4.7 times of median income. This is much more than the international standards of 3 times. And well, there's nothing wrong with making money from property. Well, I'm speaking to the more middle-aged here, those that have gotten their BTOs and, so-called gotten the lottery ticket, if you will. I think everybody here would want to be property huat kueh. I also want, okay? But here's an appeal to perhaps my parents' generation, to the older folks who've made their paper profits or realized profits on resale HDBs. Perhaps it is time to pause and give some reconsideration and ask yourself, where can this eventually lead to? If you want to bring our nation's fertility rate back up, You want to build families that are grounded, rooted here in Singapore? That people that are willing to say, yes, Singapore is my home. Then we can't have this musical chairs that is eventually going to tumble one day. We can't have the uncertainty, the long BTO waiting times, and skyrocketing prices. Relooking housing policies is something that RDU and Red Dot United will push for in Parliament if elected. My team and I will make sure that a roof over our heads for all Singaporeans remain affordable and accessible for all. Today, I speak not just for the residents of Jurong East and Bukit Batok, but for all Singaporeans. Well, as you guys have known, the recent tariffs by the Trump administration have shaken us. But the issues Singaporeans face at home have been front and center of our minds even before Trump's second presidency. In repeatedly pointing to geopolitical issues, the PAP seems to have forgotten that there are issues yet to be addressed and resolved here back at home. A high cost of living, job insecurity from an open labour policy, record high resale HDB prices, drastically low fertility rates, population replacement policies that may lead to a frayed social compact, and I could go on and on. Talking about social compact and social cohesion, you guys might have read the news today. Less than 32 hours ago, our government had to step in and deal with some, perhaps, foreign election interference. In today's rising geopolitical issues, there is much at stake. In my opinion, and in RDU's opinion, let's not get the population riled up over age-old issues of race, language, or religion. We should rile up the population over innovative ideas and a vibrant economy and push our young Singaporeans to take more risk. This might sound familiar to you, but bear with me. Whoever that governs Singapore must have that good sense in him. Then let me ask you, with the recent controversies from ministers being charged in court, opposition MPs being charged in court, well, resale prices skyrocketing, MRT breakdowns, and a frayed social compact, let me ask you, does the PAP government truly deserve a blank check victory in this election? Does anyone in the PAP Jurong East Bukit Batok team deserve a blank check victory? Look at who they parachuted into your GRC. In Tampines GRC, they are at least getting a good-looking ex-chief of army, Mr. David Neo. In Jurong East Bukit Batok, you guys are getting Mr. Lee Hock Chuan. Well, there's nothing wrong with his looks, okay? But do note that he is the one-man suicide squad for the PAP in the GE 2015 and 2020. They fielded this guy in Hougang SMC. And now, they decide, okay, you've done us a great service, we parachute you in. So that's what they do to you guys, to us. They think us Singaporeans blind. So today, I'd like to invite the residents of Bukit Batok, Jurong East GRC, to perhaps remind the PAP or to teach the PAP a lesson that they will not forget. Today, there must be a pivot, not in a reactive sense where we merely wait and see, cover up and shell up in over-pessimistic safety. While there is nothing wrong with conventional markers of success or even privilege, if you're born into it by God's given gifts. Well, I made my first headway into business not because I was born into a family of wealthy parents, had connections from the elite class, or received the cozy comforts of a prestigious education. I did it as an ordinary Singaporean through grit, perseverance, and constant reiteration. Today I stand before you as the son of a fishmonger, as a son to a mother who worked her way up from an entry-level clerk to a manager. I am an ordinary Singaporean. I know how it feels like to feel like you are going nowhere despite how hard you try. Today, Singapore stands at a pivotal moment. Your future, your family's future, and the future of all Singaporeans isn't just in one person's or one political party's hands. It is the burden, pride, and responsibility shared amongst all Singaporeans. They are your students, the working adults, the retirees, the single, the married, the graduates, the non-graduates, the successful and the downtrodden, the young, the middle-aged, and the old. This is a diverse representation and pioneering spirit that I wish to bring forth with my candidacy. My name is Marcus Neo. Vote for RDU. Vote for Red Dot United. Vote for Singapore. Thank you.